Hello everyone, it's Moonlight Mason, and in this video I am actually reading chapter 4 of Trisha Paytas's The History of My Insanity. I was going to say The Insanity of My History. The History of My Insanity by Trisha Paytas. The chapters are small, they're just a couple of pages. I like keeping it this way so that I don't, bore you guys and you guys actually get the gist of the whole book. So, chapter 4 is Back to the Farm. Well, Trish, you're going back to school. Let's try another school. My mom did move us to another small town about a half hour away for me to try another school. That is really cool. The mother moves a half hour away for Trisha to start another school. Okay, sometimes there's buses in these places, but maybe not. The high school, no, I started at an even smaller town than the following winter. The high school population was about 200. More judgment, fewer teeth. Wonderful. So when Trisha writes more judgment, she means more judgment upon herself, right? But then she judges everyone else by saying fewer teeth. Because remember, she's in hillbilly land. So according to her. However, I did get to create a new character for myself. You guys, we had another character in chapter 3, remember? Now we've got another character. I was Trish, the girl from Hollywood, of course. My dad was a big-time producer and my mom was a playmate. I was a child actor who had moved back to Illinois because my parents had gone through a fresh divorce. I mean, 12 years. It's still fresh. Again, people didn't know how to take me. I started sexing myself up a little more. My mom bleached my hair a brassy blonde. I ripped up my t-shirts and threw birds and crap in my hair and called it fashion. I think with all my razzle-dazzle, people didn't notice my weight. I dropped about 30 pounds, though, by not eating for 2 weeks straight. That helped. In classes, I volunteered more often to read because these kids were slow, like all of them. I would read super quickly, and the teachers actually marked me down if I didn't slow down. The kids loved it because they thought I was from another planet, speaking another language. It was sort of my signature at the school. It was my piece of attention. Who wants to read? The teacher would ask, and everyone would say, Trish. I was special. I was better than all of them. Score 1 for Trish. That's just page 1, but the mentality though, at such a young age, these thoughts never came into my head, you guys. And if you think I haven't been through anything, then you've got to go and read my, what's happened to me in the past. I have videos of, my dramas that I went through as a child. So I've been through it too, you guys. Okay, don't think for 1 second. All right, back to the farm. This school wasn't much different in terms of friends. People still kept their distance here. I was never asked out on dates, nor was I invited to parties. Most teachers loved me, except my art teacher. He was a hippie, and he did not appreciate my character. I started really playing the dumb blonde card at the school. A show starring Paris Hilton called The Simple Life had aired the previous summer, and people did not own a television in this town. So I knew I could take all the lines from that show and use them as my own. People would talk about Walmart, and I would say, do they sell walls there? It got people to talk about me. Everyone knew Trish. I would say random things like, horses don't exist because I've never seen them. Something so outlandish, and they'd believe me. I'd get a rise out of these people, and pretty soon we weren't talking about art in the Roman Empire, but we spent an hour talking all about Trish. It was fabulous. And it was attention. Pretty soon, these people began to bore me. School was of no interest. And all I could think about as I saw Hilary Duff become famous at that age, I was at that moment, was that I was wasting valuable time when I should become a star in Hollywood. Hollywood was waiting for me. Hollywood needed Trish, and I was stuck here learning about the future farmers of America. This school had showed a lot of physical disapproval of me. I got pencils thrown in my hair. Someone threw paint on me, and girls stole my pants after gym class. I always took hate as a sign of jealousy. They clearly wanted something I had, and I loved it. But everyone has her limit to how much she can take. I wanted to quit, and I used that good old handy-dandy guilt card on my mom to convince her to let me drop out of school when I was 16. Oh, Mom. My mom. God, if it was my mom and I went to her talking about dropping out of school at 16. It just wouldn't happen. That just couldn't happen in my family. It just can't happen. I told her it was her fault and that I was stuck here, and the least she could do was let me drop out. She actually agreed, but then I got a part in a play. I played Penny Palmer in Swing Fever. She was the Marilyn Monroe type who came to a small town and dazzled everyone. I loved playing her, and once again, people adored me, and I was the star. So I stayed in school till the end of the year. I turned 16 at the end of my sophomore year, and I was ready and waiting for my Volkswagen Beetle to be delivered by my father, so just like he had done for my brother when he had turned 16. I waited, and waited, and my dad said I wasn't getting one. Gee, who was in his ear about this one? My dad had always told me I was getting a car at 16, and now that he was a multi-millionaire, he had changed his mind. He was playing the card of come to college in California and we'll get you a car here. At this point, I wasn't holding my breath. This was a huge letdown to me, and it seemed really unfair. My dad not getting me a car had nothing to do with me and everything to do with my mother and the settlement she got. To this day, my dad won't come out with why he never got me a car, although he got my brother a car. He said he's not allowed to talk about it. Really? Really, Dad? You can't talk about it with your daughter who has been living on her own since she was 18? And you no longer have any ties or connections with my mother? I don't buy it. It's BS. As far as I was concerned, it was favoritism. What other way is there to look at it? My dad's wife was always jealous of me. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I was pretty and she wasn't. Maybe because my mom was pretty and she wasn't. Because she never had children of her own, she was always going to be second best in my dad's life. My dad always made it clear that we were his number one priority. He always said he would choose us over her, but I don't know if I fully believe that. I always told my dad she was the reason I never wanted to live with him full time. If my dad had never met his wife, I pictured us living together even now. I always wanted to live with my dad to get to know him more and make up for lost time as a child. But that was never going to happen with that woman in the house. My mom ended up getting me a used car. It was a 1990 Jeep Cherokee, and I loved it. I had my heart set on it since we saw Secret Window starring Johnny Depp the week before, in which he drove one similar. My license plate even had Depp in the name, but I don't remember it exactly. My mom told me I had to find a job if I quit school. I looked that summer but found nothing. So I went back to school the following fall. I mean, come on, you guys. Do you really think, let's talk about, do you really think Trisha looked for a job that summer? Can you imagine Trisha looking for a job? I bet she only went looking for like one job. She only applied to one or two. She didn't go out every single day and look for a job. I was quite lucky as a teen. I didn't have to work. And my parents gave me spending money as long as I did well in school. All right, Trisha, why are you contradicting yourself? My mom told me I'd have to find a job if I quit school. I looked that summer but found nothing, so I went back to school the following fall. I was quite a lucky teen. I didn't have to work. And my parents gave me spending money as long as I did well in school. I wanted to quit again right away and just move out on my own and become a stripper. But I'm sorry, guys. It's like too much. I don't know who talks like this. I wanted to quit right away and just move out on my own and become a stripper. But I stayed for one reason and one reason only. My junior year biology teacher. We'll call him Mr. D. He wore glasses. He was buff. He was the football coach. And he was smart. He knew everything about movies. We talk about De Nitro and Tarantino all through class while other kids just text. He let me do my science projects on the Black Mamba and let me use quotes from Kill Bill to present it. He was so cool, and he was my outlet. He gave me special attention. I got to go to his classroom during his open period, and he gave me movies to borrow. He loaned me American Beauty, and I swore it was a sign. I tried out for cheerleading just so he could see me in the light Kevin Spacey saw Mina Suvari. It wasn't hard making this cheerleading squad at school. Mr. D never gave me a D. Oh, Trish, that's so crude. But the fantasy and the sexual tension were enough for me. He's the only one I miss from my childhood, and he's the only one I'd ever care to see again. I think he's married with kids. I think he was then, but he was motivation enough to keep me in school and graduate. Senior year was my living hell. That was when I turned from emotionally unstable to full-on Trish needs help. I just wanted to be done with small towns and small-minded people and go out and start auditioning and living my dreams of becoming famous. I mean, being famous meant attention, and that's all I really wanted, just to make money being me. Kim Kardashian beat me to the punch. Damn, if only I were old enough to make a sex tape first. This was the year my mom met her boyfriend from hell. I thought the other ones were from hell. Here's another one. We'll call him Tiger. Oh, well, we've heard about Tiger, haven't we? Long story, but just think of a famous tiger on a cereal box. My mom started yet another job at a country club about 30 minutes away, and this is where she met Tiger. See, that's what I'm saying. When she said the mother moved 30 minutes to another town for her to go to another school, oh, maybe it's because you have to go to schools around you. Yeah, okay, maybe that's why. Okay, I got it now. But long story, okay, let's start this again. This was the year my mom met her boyfriend from hell. We'll call him Tiger. Well, we do know a little bit about Tiger, don't we? Recent stuff about Tiger. My mom started yet another job at a country club about 30 minutes away, and this is where she met Tiger. Tiger started spending nights in our 2-bedroom house immediately. He would get out of a shower in the morning and walk around our house naked. He sat on my bed naked, and he stole DVDs of mine. My mom never believed me. I mean, I did have a past of lying, but I never lied about Tiger or about any of my step-parents for that matter. I may like attention, but I'm not going to say someone did something to me when they didn't. I've always been a Catholic and believe in do unto others. Plus, I always was aware that karma does go around. So I'm not out to ruin lives. We get into a really big argument. We'd get into really big arguments over Tiger and how I didn't feel comfortable with him in the house. And my mom would tell me to get a life, move out, and leave her alone. Maybe you guys are getting a gist now why, I've said some things about Lana before, and because I just know so much about the mother. Okay, listen to this. She and Tiger would have sex on the couch when I was coming home from football games. She'd have sex in the living room so loudly that my sister and I couldn't sleep, and she didn't care. She stumbled in my room drunk one night, saying she was closing my door so she and Tiger could have loud, crazy sex. She was wearing my Steppenwolf theater shirt with no pants, which I later burned. I thought my mom was such a whore, and I thought she was absolutely repulsive. Deep breath. I can't comment. I can't. It won't be nice. At the same time, I felt trapped. I could not stand to talk to my dad's wife, which meant I wasn't talking to my dad. I had no money to move, and I didn't even know how to go about making money. Oh boy. It just reminded me of when I was 16 or 17 years old, and I got my first job working at McDonald's, and I still have my first paycheck, and that's all. That's all, because Trisha didn't even know how to make money. I had to stay there and endure my mom and her multiple boyfriends coming in and out of the house. I think my mom knew I was flying the coop at the end of that year, so she was looking for her way out as well. We did not get along, and by the end of that year, it was safe to say I hated my mom. I resented her and never wanted to speak to her again. And I don't blame Trisha at 17 years old. I can't, this is horrendous. I just wish that we knew, or she talked about what happened between the time that Trisha resented and hated her for her mother not believing Trisha when she was getting molested by all her boyfriends, and the mother was just, doing all this crazy sex. What happened with Trisha and her mom? How did they reconcile this, if they have even addressed it? I don't know. I doubt that they have addressed it and have reconciled this. I just think that Trisha is holding all this inside, and that's why a lot of anger comes out. This is one of them. This is big. The day I turned 18 was the second happiest day of my life, and the day I graduated high school was the first. The day of graduation, I ran to get my diploma after the ceremony. My dad was there, and we bolted immediately afterward. I didn't say goodbye to my classmates. I didn't say goodbye to teachers. I didn't say goodbye to my mom or sister. They both had made it clear I was unwelcome that entire year, so I just ran. All my boxes were already shipped to my dad's house, and I was on my way to California. That was the last time I had ever been to Illinois. And that was chapter 4. Now, we all know, or some of you may know, that she just recently, well, I keep saying maybe like, I don't know, you guys, time, 6 months, maybe a year ago, like just recently went to Illinois to visit her high school, and no one would let her in. And she was outside of her high school, and she was screaming and complaining, and she started talking about how she hated everyone there and stuff like that. So she did go back. So interesting. Yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying this. I certainly am enjoying this and reading it over. So let me know your thoughts below about that chapter. And, I think there was some really telling things about, Trisha's childhood, especially if you didn't know about her mom. Yeah, it's really sad. All right, you guys, I love each and every one of you. Thanks for listening or watching and listening, and I will see you in the next chapter. Bye.